Nice That You Looking At, Welcome to New York, is a song by the American singer-songwriter Taylor Swift from her fifth studio album, 1989-2014. Written by Swift and Ryan Tedder. The song was inspired by Swift's relocation to New York City in April 2014. Its lyrics explore a newfound freedom in the city and a light-hearted attitude towards past heartbreaks. Swift, Tedder, and Noel Zancanella produced Welcome to New York, a track driven by pulsing synthesizers, programmed drums, and multi-tracked vocals. Music critics described the genre as synth pop, electropop, and disco. The song was released for download on October 20, 2014, a week ahead of 1989's release. Welcome to New York received mixed reviews from critics, most of whom criticized the lyrics as unsophisticated for a New York tribute song. Some defenders praised the production as bright and catchy and interpreted the lyrics as being supportive of LGBT rights. The song peaked within the top 20 of music charts in Canada, New Zealand, and Scotland. In the United States, it reached number 48 on the Billboard Hot 100 and was certified platinum by the Recording Industry Association of America. Swift donated all proceeds from the sales to the New York City Department of Education. She included the track in the set list of the 1989 World Tour, 2015, and performed it on a few dates of her later tours. Following the 2019 dispute regarding the ownership of Swift's back catalog, she re-recorded the song as Welcome to New York, Taylor's version, for her re-recorded album 1989, Taylor's Version, 2023. The singer-songwriter Taylor Swift abandoned the country stylings of her past music and embraced a pop production for her fifth studio album, 1989-2014, which she marketed as her first official pop album. Her musical inspiration was 1980s synth pop and its experimentation with synthesizers, drum pads, and overlapped vocals. She began writing the album in mid-2013 while touring in support of her fourth album, Red, 2012, and enlisted prominent contemporary pop producers including Ryan Tedder, whom she contacted via a voice memo. One of Swift's inspirations on 1989 was her relocation to New York City from Nashville in spring 2014. In a Rolling Stone interview, she recalled that she was so intimidated by the city and its blaring honesty that she thought she could not make it here because wasn't bold enough, brave enough. Swift eventually felt ready to embrace it when she bought a penthouse in the Tribeca neighborhood in April 2014. She came to New York unattached to anybody romantically, after having received media attention for her dating life. According to Swift, her wide-eyed optimism prompted her to see New York as a place that inspired her to take on endless potential and possibilities. Welcome to New York encapsulates Swift's feelings when she first moved to New York. She put it first on 1989's track list because she wanted to highlight New York as a memorable event in her life and a formative aesthetic influence of the album. In the lyrics, a narrator expresses their newfound sense of freedom. Everybody here was someone else before, and compares living in New York to having a nice beat they could dance to. They move on from past heartbreaks, took our broken hearts, put them in a drawer, celebrate the bright lights and energy, but maintain their identity. The lights are so bright, but they never blind me. Vogue's Alex Frank interpreted this as an answer to Empire State of Mind, 2009, by Jay-Z and Alicia Keys. The second verse's lyrics, and you can want who you want, boys and boys and girls, generated interpretations from some publications as Swift's support for diversity and LGBT rights. The music scholar Eric Smialek contended that the lyrics received media attention due to popular belief that Swift was politically inactive. According to Smialek, the LGBT representation is not foregrounded, but displays, at least incidental awareness and advocacy. Because Swift wanted a 1980s-influenced sound. Tedder programmed the song with a Juno 106 synthesizer, which he described as a very 1980s instrument. He finished the first draft in 3 hours and completed the first demo later that week. While touring in Switzerland, Tedder produced 4 other versions. Though he preferred one later version, Swift chose the one closest to the first demo as the final version. Swift and Tedder produced Welcome to New York, with Noel Zancanella, who played additional synthesizers and programmed the drums. Tedder and Smith Carlson recorded the track at Conway Recording Studios in Los Angeles, California. It was mixed by Serban Gania at Mix Star Studios in Virginia Beach, Virginia, and mastered by Tom Coyne at Sterling Sound Studios in New York. The track is 3 minutes and 32 seconds long. Welcome to New York opens with pulsing synthesizers and programmed drum machines that create clapping-like rhythms. Swift's vocals are multi-tracked and processed with electronic elements. According to the musicologist James E. Perrone, the composition is monothematic, demonstrated by repetitions of one single pitch throughout both the verses and the refrains. In contemporary reviews, music critics characterized the genre as synth pop. Lindsay Zoladz from Vulture described it as electropop, and Rob Sheffield of Rolling Stone deemed it a disco ode to New York. The birthplace of disco, the song's pulsing synth production sets the tone for 1989's 1980s indebted sound. There were comparisons to music by other artists. Perrone said the synthesizers and drum machines called to mind 1980s artists Cyndi Lauper and Prince. NME's Matthew Horton wrote the synth jab evoked the band OMD. And the New Zealand Herald found the production reminiscent of Robin. Welcome to New York received a mixed reaction from critics. Most criticisms regarded the lyrics as unsophisticated and superficial for a New York tribute song and subpar for Swift's artistry. They added that Swift's depiction and love of New York neglected the real-life socio-economic issues that most city residents had to face. Jason Lipschutz of Billboard wrote, "While Swift perkily admires, she doesn't remark on the subway rats or waking up in closet-sized bedrooms." The synth production also received negative comments from two-time critics as being cheesy and lifeless. John Caramanica from the New York Times described the track as shimmery if slightly dim. And Fact's Amy Cliff complained how the song manages to reduce an entire city to a pristine skyline seen from a top-floor window. Caramanica, Cliff, and Zoladz picked Welcome to New York as one of 1989's weakest tracks, as did Parade's Samuel R. Murrian and Spin's Al Shipley in retrospective reviews. Speaking to Billboard regarding the reaction, Swift said it made her think differently but defended the song because she was focusing on how to capture a momentary emotion. She added, "To take a song and try to apply it to every situation everyone is going through, economically, politically, in an entire metropolitan area, is asking a little much of a piece of a music." There were some sympathetic comments. Robert Christgau said, "I think it's silly to demand sociology from someone who can't stroll Central Park without bodyguards." Pop Matters' Corey Baisley wrote that Welcome to New York was both undeniably catchy and completely unlistenable. But the song was a reasonable album opener because it's a manifesto, not an overture. In Consequence of Sound, Sasha Geffen opined that the track is not about New York City itself but New York City the idea, an aspirational playground always situated slightly out of reach. Daniel Daddario of Time highlighted the LGBT implications and described the song as a new kind of equality anthem. Some reviews were more appreciative. Roisin O'Connor from The Independent contended that the song received an unfair rap from critics and complimented it as a blast of fresh air. Spin magazine's Andrew Unterberger highlighted the track as a representation of Swift's adulthood and mature perspective, and Mara Eakin of the AV Club deemed it catchy. Perrone labeled the track as an engaging, popular, and very interesting song within the Swift canon, and Annie Zaleski similarly regarded it as a unique track in Swift's discography, highlighting the production touches that whoosh like a cool breeze. Welcome to New York, featured as one of Swift's best songs on lists by Clash, 2021, and Billboard, 2023, on October 27, 2014. To celebrate the album's release, Swift held a concert called 1989 Secret Sessions in Manhattan. It featured tracks from 1989, including Welcome to New York, and was live-streamed by Yahoo and iHeartRadio. During promotion of the album, Swift performed Welcome to New York on TV shows including Late Show with David Letterman and Good Morning America. She also performed the song during 2 events in 2019. The Amazon Prime Day concert and Z100's iHeartRadio Jingle Ball. Welcome to New York was the opener in the set list for Swift's 2015 tour, the 1989 World Tour. Swift performed it as a surprise song outside the regular set list during 2 concerts of her later tours, at the East Rutherford show as part of her Reputation Stadium tour on July 20, 2018, and again at East Rutherford as part of the Eras tour on May 28, 2023. On the latter tours, she sang the song with a piano at the Stockholm stop on May 18, 2024. Where Swift sang it as part of a medley with Say Don't Go, 2023, and Clean, 2014, and at the New Orleans stop on October 26, 2024, where she sang it as part of a medley with Hits Different, 2022. The singer-songwriter Ryan Adams recorded a cover version of Welcome to New York for his 2015 track-by-track cover album of Swift's 1989. His version features an acoustic arrangement backed by building strings, guitar strums, piano, and drums. Adams sings with vocals that critics described as aching and clenched teeth. Dan Caffrey from Consequence of Sound said Adams's Welcome to New York incorporates influences of power pop that resemble the music of Tom Petty. Pop Matters writer Evan Sorday deemed the song the weakest track on Swift's 1989, but complimented Adams for giving it a warmer, more humanistic treatment. And The Observer's Emily Mackay regarded it as a desperate hit of Springsteenian yearning that was among the album's better songs. By contrast, Sarah Murphy from Exclaim opined that the cover was rendered ridiculous when sung by a weathered rock star. This is the end of the video. Don't forget to subscribe. See you next time. Bye.